Imagine this. It's 50,000 years ago, and you're standing in a pitch-black wilderness. The air is freezing. A distant growl rumbles through the trees, and your heart's pounding like a drum. You're not alone. Something's watching you. Now, imagine the only place you can run to is a cold, damp cave. Why did prehistoric humans choose to sleep in these dark, creepy holes? Was it just for shelter? Or is there something way more shocking going on? Stick with me, because the truth about why our ancestors huddled in caves will blow your mind. It's not what you think. From bone-chilling dangers to secrets buried in the stone, we're diving deep into a world that makes modern life look like a walk in the park. Ready to uncover the horrifying reasons behind their choice? Let's go. Chapter 1. The Brutal World. Outside the cave, let's step into the shoes of a prehistoric human. You wake up, no coffee, no cozy bed, no locked door. Just a world trying to kill you every single day. The Pleistocene era, 2.5 million to 11,700 years ago, was a nightmare. Imagine hearing the roar of a saber-toothed cat, its teeth longer than your hand, seeing you as lunch. Or a dire wolf pack, eyes glowing in the dusk, ready to rip you apart. Could you outrun a 500-pound beast with claws like knives? Not likely. Early humans, like Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, had sticks, stones, and maybe a crude spear. That's it. The environment was just as cruel. Freezing nights could drop below zero, with no jacket to keep you warm. Sudden storms turned the ground into a muddy trap. One wrong step, and you're stuck, exposed, done for. A simple cut could get infected. No antibiotics, no doctors. Survival was a daily gamble, and the odds were brutal. Now, let's talk about the landscape. Dense forests hid predators, open plains left you exposed, and jagged mountains offered no mercy. Every choice was a risk. You're scavenging for berries, but a rustle in the bushes could be a lion. You're thirsty, but the riverbank might be a trap. Archaeological sites, like those in East Africa, show bones of early humans with bite marks, proof they weren't always the hunter. The world was a meat grinder, and humans were often the prey. So why caves? They were a shield, a place to catch your breath. A cave's solid walls and narrow entrance gave you a fighting chance. You could huddle inside, light a fire, and keep the chaos at bay. But it wasn't just about hiding. Caves offered something deeper, something we're still unraveling. They were a glimmer of hope in a world that didn't care if you lived or died. Then there were other humans. Yeah, your own kind could be just as deadly. Tribes fought over food, water, territory. Skulls from sites like Shanidar Cave show cracks from blunt force trauma, proof of violent clashes. Imagine meeting a rival group at a water source. They're not here to share. They're swinging clubs. Resources were scarce, and trust was scarcer. Caves gave you a place to hide, to plan, to watch. A narrow entrance meant you could defend it, maybe even ambush attackers. But here's the kicker. Caves weren't just about survival. They were a statement. Choosing a cave meant claiming a space, a tiny piece of control in a world that offered none. But was it really safe inside? Spoiler, not always. The outside world was a death trap, but the cave had its own surprises waiting. Let's dive into what it was really like inside those rocky walls. Chapter 2. The hidden dangers inside the cave. So you've made it to the cave thinking, finally, I'm safe. Hold up. Caves weren't cozy retreats. They were dark, damp, and full of their own nightmares. First, the air. Ever been in a musty basement? Multiply that by 10. Caves trapped stale air, sometimes laced with toxic gases like carbon dioxide from natural vents. Breathing that could make you dizzy, sick, or worse. Prehistoric humans didn't have air purifiers. They just dealt with it. Then there's the dampness. Water seeped through walls, making everything cold and slick. Sleeping on wet rock. Good luck staying healthy. Bones from sites like Lascaux show signs of arthritis and infections, likely from living in these conditions. You're not just fighting the cold, you're fighting your own body breaking down in a place that's supposed to protect you. Now, let's talk about what was living in there with you. Caves weren't empty. Bats swarmed in droves, their guano piling up in corners. Breathing that dust could wreck your lungs. Early humans didn't know about zoonotic diseases, but they felt the effects. Worse, some caves were home to animals before humans moved in. Cave bears, twice the size of modern grizzlies, left claw marks on walls, like those found in Chauvet Cave. Imagine curling up to sleep, then hearing a growl from the shadows. Archaeological finds, like bear bones alongside human tools, show these weren't rare roommates. And then there's the cave itself. Rockfalls were a real threat. Earthquakes could collapse ceilings. Sites like Atapuerca in Spain have revealed crushed skeletons, hinting at deadly cave-ins. So why stay? If the outside was bad and the inside was a gamble, what kept humans coming back? Here's where it gets wild. Caves were strategic. That narrow entrance, it was a choke point. You could guard it, light a fire, keep threats out. But it also trapped you. If a rival tribe found your cave, you were cornered. Yet humans kept choosing them. Why? It wasn't just about physical safety. Caves had a pull, something deeper that made them worth the risks. Think about it. You're in a world where everything's trying to kill you. A cave feels like a fortress, but it's also a trap. The real question is, what made them stay despite the dangers? It wasn't just about surviving the night. It was about something bigger, something that tied them to these dark, dangerous spaces. We're about to uncover the real reason, and it's going to blow your mind. Chapter 3. The real reason caves were chosen. All right, we've seen the chaos outside and the risks inside. So why did prehistoric humans keep crawling into caves? It's not just about shelter. There's something way more intense going on. Let's start with the psychology. Imagine living in a world where you're never safe. The dark, the unknown, the constant threat. It messes with your head. Caves gave a sense of control, a place where you could light a fire, see the walls, and feel like you had a grip on things. Studies of early human behavior, like those based on ethnographic parallels, suggest they craved stability, just like us. A cave was a refuge, not just from predators, but from fear itself. It was a place to tell stories, to bond, to feel human. Could you handle that kind of mental strain without a place to feel safe? Then there's the cultural side. Caves weren't just homes, they were sacred. Look at the cave art in places like Chauvet or Altamira. Those paintings of bison, horses, and handprints weren't just art. They were rituals, maybe early religion. Shamans might have used caves for ceremonies, believing they connected to the spirit world. The darkness, the echoes. It felt otherworldly. Humans stayed because caves weren't just safe. They were meaningful. They were where you mourned, celebrated, planned. Some caves, like those in the Levant, show evidence of burials. People didn't just live there, they honored their dead, tying their identity to the stone. Imagine painting a cave wall by firelight, knowing your story would outlive you. That's powerful. Finally, it was about community. In a cave, you weren't alone. You had your tribe, your family, huddling together, sharing warmth, telling stories. That's what kept people sane. Caves were where humans became more than survivors. They became us. But here's the chilling part. That need for connection, for meaning, made them overlook the dangers. They chose caves not just to live, but to feel alive. Mind-blowing, right? So next time you're cozy in bed, think about your ancestors curled up in a cave, chasing something bigger than survival. If this blew your mind, hit that subscribe button and let's keep exploring the wild past together. Could you survive a night in their world? Drop a comment and let's talk.